Imagine talking smack to somebody and actually seeing it work to your benefit. It happens all the time, but when it happens at the NBA level, that's when you know you're getting into somebody's head. The topic of this video is pretty straightforward, so let's get right into it. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today let's talk about some iconic moments where trash talking actually worked. Without further ado, let's begin. Paul Pierce vs. Kenneth Faried. Pierce spent one season with the Washington Wizards, and it was quite the memorable one. At this stage of his career, he was still balling out, but he also stopped caring about how others viewed him. In this year in particular, he established a tight relationship with everyone on the team and gave this team an edge they desperately needed. He brought in a new level of toughness and ferocity that's been missing. This included openly trash-talking the opposing teams, and he kinda influenced Wall and Beal in doing so too. This particular moment between Pierce and Faried happened on January 25th, 2015. The Wizards vs. Nuggets. With the game tied 105-105, Kenneth Faried got fouled and went to the free throw line to take his 2 free throws. There was 1 second left in the game, so if he made even one, the Nuggets were likely going to win. That's when Paul Pierce shouted, "$60 million, I don't see it with this guy," referring to the contract that Faried signed a few months prior. It worked. Faried got spooked and missed both free throws, as the game got sent into overtime. Eventually, the Wizards came out victorious as Pierce got the last laugh. Not just that, but throughout the season, Pierce was talking more trash than he's ever had. According to an anonymous Eastern Conference player, he stated, quote, "Sometimes during a game and Pierce was guarding someone, he'd turn his back and said, 'Go ahead and shoot that ball. You can't hit that.' He does that to younger guys or guys he doesn't respect." The scary thing is, Pierce's tactics worked. He was a mastermind at getting into players' heads. Michael Jordan vs. Steve Smith. You might know Steve Smith as a quiet, reserved guy, but back in his playing days, no, he was a talker, especially when he played MJ. Smith has heard all the stories of MJ, and as a young player coming in, he wanted to show him he's here for business. For the most part, MJ would usually ignore him, until this time. The Heat vs. Bulls. But throughout the entire game, Jordan started saying random numbers every time he made a basket. 36, 34. Smith was perplexed. What was he doing? Why is MJ counting down from 40? Then, he soon realized, oh, that's what he's doing. On open court, Smith stated, "One time, he started counting backwards. He said something like 38, and I didn't get it. And he started saying 36. So, wait a minute, he's going backwards? Now, if he gets to 0, he got 40 points. Well, it turns out MJ finished with 37 points, while Smith finished with only 7. Later, he admitted that very few players could get to him like this, but MJ did it with ease, without even spewing out his conventional trash talk. He was just counting down, and that was enough to make his defenders nervous. As he approached 0, Smith slowly got tilted, and tried to start talking back to him. The entire team got frustrated because nobody could stop him, all while Jordan clowned them the entire time. Gary Payton vs. Jamie Fake. Payton is a legendary trash talker. In fact, even the most ridiculous trash talkers don't hold a candle to GP. They've all admitted at one point or another that he runs his mouth like no other player they've played against before. A notable instance happened in 1999. Jamie Fake, a late second-round pick, was just trying to find his niche in the NBA. He played on 4 different teams in his first 3 seasons as he got frustrated with his journeyman life. But in the 1999-2000 season, he appeared in 81 games as a backup center for the Nets. This was the biggest opportunity of his career to solidify himself as a rotation player. Then, one day, Gary Payton and Jamie Fake played against each other. Payton heard Jamie say something to him. Now, he couldn't hear what he said, it might have not been anything serious. But Payton decided to shout back at him. "Man, who the hell are you? You won't even be in the league next year." Apparently, Jamie was quite the emotional fella. His feelings got hurt, and he even told his coach about what GP said. Apparently, his trash talk demoralized him. Despite having his most successful season, a year later, Jamie Fake was indeed out of the NBA. He played only 6 games in his final NBA season before suffering a career-ending Achilles injury. Kevin Garnett vs. Andre Blatch. Blatch is a name that you probably haven't heard in a long time. At one point, he was a primary piece of the Wizards, that period with JaVale McGee and Nick Young, and well, that was a hilarious yet forgettable era for the franchise. Blatch was known to be a talker, and as a young guy trying to establish himself, he felt that he could use his words to get an advantage, to get into the heads of his defender. That did not work with Kevin Garnett. In a game in 2010, Garnett noticed his demeanor. He recognized that Blatch put on a tough exterior, but he was soft inside. That whole game, KG was pestering him, giving him nudges, got up close to him to talk smack. It got to the point where Blatch lost it. He elbowed KG and shoved him into a cameraman, all while KG continued his relentless assault of words. He got under his skin. According to an article, he stated, Blatch was noticeably upset and appeared to hold back tears as he explained his encounter with Garnett. If a man is talking to me this close to my face, I'm going to say something back. He has to respect me just like I respect him. I just said, get up out of my face. He was this close to my face, I can feel his lips touching my cheek. The fact that Garnett made a man cry strictly from his trash talking, that's crazy. To top it off, the Wizards blew a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter, with Blatch struggling to deal with the noise, as Boston came back to win. While we don't know the full details of what Garnett said to him, later in a post-game interview, players around them admitted what they heard really shocked him, and it hurt the entire team's confidence, not just Blatch. LeBron James vs. Gilbert Arenas. You might remember this moment for those who've watched it a long time ago. 2006, Game 6, Cavs vs. Wizards. Cavs are up 3-2. It was an absolute showdown between LeBron James and Gilbert Arenas. Near the end of the game, Bron had 32 points and Gilbert had 36. With the score being 112-113, Gilbert Arenas goes to the free throw line and misses his first free throw. Before his second free throw, LeBron walks up to him, places his hand on his shoulder, and tells him, "If you miss this, you're going home." Gilbert tried to keep a straight face and did not react to it, but as you can tell after he missed it, he looked quite anxious. The Wizards were still up by 1 point, but this was an elimination game for them. Gilbert missing both free throws at the most crucial moment of his career, he could not get over that. Down the court at the other end, Damon Jones hit the corner shot at the buzzer. The Cavs advance to the second round. Larry Bird vs. Dr. J. We've heard so many legendary trash talk stories involving Larry Bird. From the three-point contest when Larry walked into the locker room and asked all the participants who's coming in second place. Or the other time when Dennis Rodman was guarding him and Bird kept shouting that he was wide open. But this instance was against none other than Dr. J. Throughout his career, the Doctor was a smooth cat. He played with grace and conducted himself like a true professional, the ambassador of the league. Prior to the arrival of Bird and Magic, Dr. J was the guy every fan wanted to see. So on November 9th, 1984, in a game between a young Larry Bird and an older Dr. J, Larry decided to keep a tally of how many points both of them had. In this game, Larry was dominating, and Dr. J was having a miserable night. By the fourth quarter, you could hear Larry saying 36-6, 38-6, 40-6, 42-6. What was he saying? That was the final tally. 42 points for Larry, 6 points for Dr. J. Throughout the span of the game, Dr. J was slowly and steadily getting more and more irritated. It culminated in a massive brawl, with Dr. J initiating and throwing punches at Larry's face. It was also kind of funny to see, because it looked like Charles Barkley was holding Larry so Dr. J can punch him. If this happened today, the suspensions would be so long, but back in the day, the punishment was soft. Regardless, Dr. J still got embarrassed on the big stage, and as a guy known for his cool, calm demeanor, he displayed a rare instance of aggression. It doesn't matter who you are, if you can make Julius Erving lose his cool, that's impressive. Anyway, those were 6 iconic moments where trash talking actually worked. Let me know what your favorite moment was, and can you think of any other instances where it worked? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.